This is Darren Hunter with Dennis Youssef. We are on the PM Growth Experts podcast show. And today we are interviewing Shashana McNichol, who works with Mac Hall Real Estate in the western suburbs of Perth. Now, if you don't know the Perth market, there is a little place in the western suburbs that we call the Golden Triangle. And that is where we get the highest rents, sometimes that we see in the country. It's a very affluent part of Perth, very high end. And this is where Shashana McNichol works as a BDM in signing up new properties. Hi, Shashana. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, guys.
Now, before we get started, a quick plug for one of our sponsors, which is BMT Tax Depreciation. Now, very quickly, guys, you need to make sure that all of your property investors have a tax depreciation report done. BMT did both my rental properties, and they've saved me up to, in some years, up to paying $25,000 in tax that I don't need to pay to the Australian Tax Office. Instead, they've been able to provide a tax schedule that I give to my accountant so I can then do some write-offs on my property. You need to make sure that all of your owners know about BMT tax depreciation reports so they can also maximize their returns too. It is your obligation to do that, to make sure that your clients are getting the best value they can with their rental property.
Well, you're meant to be the expert, right? So you should be, offering your clients, showing them how you can save them money up against them paying a fee. So, I mean, this is something that I know Shashana does, is BMT, they can actually give you a pre-report before you go to the presentation. Is that right?
I've actually won business by having the tax depreciation information in my pre-listing kit at the appraisal. I got 2 brand new 4x2 homes because the difference they found between me and the other agents, apart from our other wonderful points of difference, was the fact that I came and I sat down and I probably spoke to them for about 20 minutes on tax depreciation. And I managed to obviously get them a really good deal on their tax depreciation reports for these brand new properties, and nobody else that went in the door told them about this.
So you look like the market leader. You look like the expert, which is absolutely brilliant, and well done to you on that. So,
Shashana, I might just ask a quick favor. Can you close that blind that's next to you there? You're getting a lot of flashes. So is there any chance you can just close it here? That'll be.
Let me see what I can do.
That's right.
All the stars are shining.
Oh, you get cars driving past, it's flashing, and I'm sure that it's already distracting our viewers, so you should be fine.
It's actually closed. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. We'll do it.
Traffic.
It's the natural stardom of Shashana. As you can look at all those trophies behind her.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before I hand over to Dennis, Shashana, what are some of the typical rents that you're signing up to? What are some of these rents? Now, of course, for our American viewers in Australia, we deal with weekly rents, not monthly rents like you guys. I know it's a lot smarter to deal with monthly rents than weekly, but Shashana, what are some of the weekly rents that you're seeing?
Okay, so in the western suburbs, our Claremont office, we specialise in renting properties from about the $700 per week mark all the way to $3,000 per week. So we are within that Golden Triangle of Perth. It is one of the more affluent areas, and we find that we do a lot of big family homes.
Okay, well done. So Dennis, over to you.
Yeah, well, I've got a bit of a gift for Shashana, and I'll probably look at bringing this over because I'm over in Perth next week. So we were doing some training the other day, and I know I got something for you, but I've got this special record that I'm going to get Shashana. Now, Darren, I've done a lot of homework looking for the right genre for her. At our conference, I know she was dancing to Michael Jackson and Justin Timberlake and stuff, but I found something for her. Just wait a second. There it is there. Oh, here. And I thought that she would like Miley Cyrus.
Who doesn't?
This is her.
Oh, goodness me.
Alley. Okay. So I'll bring that with me for you. The songs are all there for you as well. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, you remind me of Molly Meldrum from Countdown, seriously. And of course, our outside of Australia viewers may not know what that is, but let's just say that's rock stardom. So
I think you might have a hat there somewhere.
Yeah.
Dennis, do yourself a favor.
Okay, so Shashana, why did you join real estate? So what did you just wake up out of school and you're finishing school and thought, I'm going to do real estate?
Funny story. I did actually apply for my first real estate job through the newspaper because I liked the sound of the title. But I have always had a passion for property. I bought my first investment property when I was 23 years old. And by the age of 27, my husband and I had a portfolio of 4 investment properties, which we still have today.
Excellent. So you understand the pain points of an owner.
Absolutely. I live and breathe the market with my clients. And I think that's a unique point of difference as well. We've seen some really good times here in WA, and we've seen a really quiet market recently. And
3 years, 3 years of pain.
I've been quite able to confidently tell my clients that I'm there with you. I'm experiencing it too.
So what you just add for our viewers and our listeners, that in Perth, we're talking 80% of the Australian income that was generated in our economy was going through Perth. Western Australia is actually a state. It's not just a section of Australia. We say West or South. It's actually Western Australia is a state, South Australia is a state, Northern Territory is a state, and Western Australia was producing up to 80% of the income, mainly through iron ore. In the north, there's a lot of iron ore, and we would have so many ships coming in that would then load the iron ore to China, to all sorts of places, and then suddenly with the mining, the economy, the mining really slowed down to where you guys were having like a 1% of property vacancy rate. And then what did the vacancy rate go up to?
Oh, look, I was reporting only a while ago, 8.6%, but now we're down to 5%, which is really good. We're really happy with that. And I think things are improving. There's a lot of new projects happening, which has got us quite excited here.
To being a mining state, you're very susceptible, but the rents went backwards over the 3 years, went backwards by about 25%. There was a lot of hurt in Perth. So that is the market, Shashana, you've been working in. And again, before I hand back to Dennis, I think we need to say, before you started doing some coaching, what were the typical numbers that you were signing up? Or even though, in fact, when Dennis came on board with you, you were in property management.
Absolutely.
You were a property manager. You weren't even a BDM.
Yeah, no, and I really didn't think that I could do BDM. I had a portfolio. I was a senior property manager, and Dennis came into our office one day, and I was so excited about the opportunity to meet him because obviously I'd seen a lot of his stuff, and he came in and he told my boss that I was going to be a BDM, and I said, no, not me. I'm a property manager.
They had the wrong, it's happened a few times, Darren. They've spent a lot of money to, good money and valuable money to obviously fly me from one side of the country to them. And I'd spent the day training, and at the end of the day, I actually said to the boss, I said, mate, you got the wrong person as the BDM. It should be the other way around. And I'd even spoken to Shashana, and she said, oh, I'm not going to do videos. You won't get me. I can't say that.
All right. So before handing back to Dennis, Shashana, you're now signing up properties worth up to $3,000 a week, which for our American viewers, you're looking at around about $13,000, perhaps up to $14,000 a month in rent. What sort of numbers are you now regularly signing up per month now?
So for us, with our core areas, it's really about the quality, not the quantity. It's about getting the right property that suits our market and also a really good fee. I've doubled my numbers 2 years running, and I think I'm up to like 67 properties so far this year.
Wow. So we're already, so that's what, so 7 months, complete months now into this year. And is it fair to say that you're still holding out on your full management fees of 9.35%?
Look, there has been some variation recently. I am really finding a lot of my competitors are dropping their fees phenomenally to fees that we were seeing 10 years ago. I'm also finding some of my competitors in the area are really overpricing properties. So that has been quite a challenge, but I'm confident in what we charge because I know that we have really good service. I know that we have really good education and we have the best experienced staff. So I'm confident in relaying that. And, I see the value.
I think, and I think, look, honestly, at the end of the day, most owners want the best agent, not the cheapest agent. So the one that they trust the most. So that's cool. Dennis, sorry, mate, over to you.
And let me just add, just in the last 3 months, I've got Shashana's KPIs in front of me. She's listed 41 properties in the last 3 months.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But again, not normal rents. So, it's not like we're dealing with vanilla rents. We're not at all. It's amazing.
And if we want to compare that to last year's numbers, this time last year, she was at 40, okay? And she is, 40? She is 22 properties in front of last year's numbers.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, so that's, training is well and truly paid for.
Oh, absolutely. The difference that I guess I've seen in myself from the day I started training to now is just phenomenal. My confidence to push boundaries and try things that I would have never done before. You wouldn't have been able to get me in front of a video camera before.
And this is the thing, Darren. It's like when I first came, I said, okay, we're going to, 2 years ago, I said, we're going to do a video. No. Now, I ring her last week. I said, I'm coming to Perth. Great. Can we do some videos?
Yeah.
The thing is, Shashana, you're a star in a lot of our training sessions now that we do on property marketing. We've shown you to people in Florida. We've shown you around the country in our national tour. We're going to be showing you in New Zealand, no doubt in a couple of weeks when we do a property marketing session there. And you'll be shown off at our Geared for Growth Nevada event coming up as well in the United States in September. So, you're Dennis's choice for the videos that he uses. He could use anyone, but he decided to use you. So, well
guys,
done.
Feel free to take me with you to Nevada.
That's cool.
And we do have I've got a new video that I will be sharing with everyone. I've got a new one that I'm pretty excited about as well. So if I can just go back to that first question, Shashana, you said you like the sound of the title. Are you talking about real estate or are you talking about property management?
Property management.
Okay. So you just
there was no disclaimer on how hard and complicated the job was. Okay,
fair enough. Yeah, okay, so we've already spoken a little bit about your office, your area and stuff. So I think, you're the BDM. You do some of the leasing for your new business as well. And then you've got the property managers and they've got their own areas that they manage properties. Like they've got their areas that they work in and they re-let properties. Is that right?
Yep. So I help out on the leasing side when required, but I really like to start that relationship between the landlord and the property manager as soon as possible, because part of our service strategy is that the property managers are their point of contact from start to finish. I'm always there in the background and I'm always contacting them for feedback and having a chat and checking in, but really they need to be connected to that property manager from the start.
Okay, excellent. And that is really important. Now, can I also add, Darren, Shashana's numbers have also improved because she is now full-time BDM versus managing portfolios. So one of the things, she was managing X amount of properties and then we slowly reduced it and now she's got 0 properties. So
it makes sense. You now got full power, full results now that you can completely focus. I mean, is it fair to say that if you're working part-time as a property manager, it really does take up full time of your brain energy because the intensity of property management?
Absolutely. So towards the end, I started to really pick up momentum and I found that when I was excelling in BDM, property management was a challenge and I was falling behind and it really wasn't ideal for me. And I was chomping at the bit to have a full-time BDM role. And I was just so honored when I was given the opportunity to move forward.
So let me ask you a question. What year did you start in real estate?
Oh, gosh, I don't know, about 10 years ago.
No, 10 years ago. So around 2008. you're about to walk in the door for the very first time, Shashana, and you get a tap on the shoulder just before you open that door, and you turn around and it's you looking at yourself. What advice do you give Shashana, the greenhorn in real estate, has never stepped in the door yet? What advice do you give yourself?
Probably a few things. Procedures and checklists are key. You need them. KPIs are your friend. So I find having KPIs to help me consistently measure myself. I find that very helpful, and it's something that I'm always working on and changing and updating.
Yeah.
Also, I guess coaching and mentoring, taking courses, that's so important for your personal and your professional development.
Yeah, excellent. So that's a good plug for Inspired Growth Training there, Darren. Just I'm
not running the commercials.
Yeah, she's doing it for us. So, Shashana, if you were to start a rent roll from scratch, obviously you've got property managers, you've got the phone ringing, it's coming in naturally. There's a sales team there, etc. But if you were to start one from scratch, let's say you leave Macquarie Real Estate, you jump out and you start a real estate. What would be the three main areas that what would your main strategies be to build your name up and to grow that business, to get those new doors coming in?
Firstly, the first thing I would do is join a BNI group in my core area. Dennis, from conversations we've had, how much I've actually got out of my BNI group. It's not just the referrals, which I'm averaging 2 high quality closed managements per month at the moment. It's not just that, but it's their networks that I get introduced to. I've met some amazing people that I've kept in contact with that are referring business to us. So for me, BNI would be the first thing I would do in my core area so that I'm actually getting the properties that I want.
Yeah.
Secondly, jump on the phone. So private landlords. I've actually converted a lot of private landlords from Gumtree, and it's all about catching them at the right time. A lot of these people have had bad experiences. So if you're confident in pushing your points of difference, then, you can get them across the line. They don't want to manage their properties. And as soon as they find out the risks associated with it, they're quite happy to hand it over. So private landlords, current clients, like anyone I've worked with previously, get on the phone, ask them for business.
Like I said, just for our American viewers, a Gumtree, I think, is like their Craigslist.
Yeah.
It's like Craigslist. So,
Yeah.
And in New Zealand, it's Trade Me.
Trade Me, that's right.
Yeah. So every country has its own main portal that private landlords use.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that you bring up those points there, Shashana, because they're the ones that you were battling on about getting involved with. So, and it's interesting because it was against your grain, against your mindset. Because when you were a property manager, you didn't have to go to a BNI. You didn't want to call those private owners because you knew it was hard. But now you see the light. While everyone else thinks it's hard, and you've got some education in process, and now you're educating people on how to win their business. Because you said it, there's always that time, there's always that moment you can catch them, and you've also got an amazing video that you've put together, right, to private owners after they have found a property. So not only does she still chase them before the business, Darren, she sends them a video how to educate to make sure that they've got their processes in place once they've found a tenant.
And they go in my database as well. So sometimes it is slow burn. Sometimes you'll convert them a year down the track. But during that time, they've been receiving investor newsletters, video updates, and that sort of thing. My video is kind of just like a nice sort of like reminder. Congratulations on finding your tenant. Here's what you need to know under WA law.
Yeah, it's a little tap on the shoulder. So, okay, so the bank rings your boss up, and the bank, has a talk to them. Gavin steps down. He says, Shashana, if you don't list 10 properties this week, you'll lose your job. We're closing the doors. What do you do?
Well, once I get over the initial shock, I'll ask the bank manager who he knows that has investment properties, because he's in the business. He does finance for investors.
That's a good answer.
And I bet you that bank manager has an investment property or two of his own, and he would be motivated to help us. So ask him for referrals, go straight to BNI, stand up in front of my BNI group and give them a really clear and concise call to action. Networking groups are fantastic for helping you out when you're actually very clear about what you need. Current clients, jump on the phone, call everybody in our rent roll, ask them for business, and also Gumtree.
Yep. Again, Darren, did you hear Shashana say that she'd be hassling her sales team? We're talking about a successful BDM that is not relying on the sales team to grow the rent roll. We have
a great sales team. We have an amazing sales team, but it's only a portion of it.
And what I'm blown away with is Shashana, once the property manager, is now the hustler. So it really does show. I think traditionally we say, Dennis, it's really hard to find a property manager that actually can become a BDM, or a BDM to become a property manager. They're two different creatures, but I do believe 10% of people can do both successfully. Shashana, you're one of those. Well done. Yeah, so let's just talk about 80% of the properties that you sign up now, the 80% of the growth you're getting now. What are the top 3 strategies you work right now that gets 80% of your return? What are you doing right now?
Yeah, okay, so definitely the networking's a big one for me, not just directly from BNI, but from the network I've made outside of BNI through their contacts and clients. A lot of private landlords. I'm seeing a lot of private landlords that are stressed by having vacant properties, and as soon as I can show them how much money I can make them rather than take from them, because they're very fee orientated, as soon as I show them how much I can make them, they're on board. Current clients as well. Our current clients, that's a good indication that we're doing our job very well. Our current clients are happy and they're referring to us. But you've got to call them because they don't think about it unless you're prompting them.
Yeah. Now, Dennis and Shashana, people want to, they go, well, what is BNI? Keeps on coming up. The 3 letters, BNI. What is it, and where can people go right now to join BNI? I mean, BNI is an international organization, but we need some more information on that.
Okay, so it's Business Networking International. They have groups throughout the world. I can guarantee that there'll be 1 or 2 groups within your core area. So you can go on the BNI website and find a group within your area. It's something that you should go along as a visitor first. I went to a couple of groups before I joined one, just to see how it works. For me, Business Networking International is very structured and you're accountable. And because of that, referrals work. Like, we stand up each week and say, I've got a referral for this person and this person, and thank you for closed business for this much. And, everybody knows how you're doing through it, and it's very accountable.
Yeah, and let's also be clear that they only accept 1 property manager in each group, so you're it.
So you get a network group. I just looked it up, so bni.com, go to that and you'll get more information there. So well done, Shashana. Okay, question for you. So, all right, there are, in the Golden Triangle, there are a number of high-end agencies. I've worked and trained some of your direct competitors. So tell me, what are your points of difference? If I'm an owner, say, hey, I could go with Acton down the road. Why should I go with you? What differences can you convince me, Shashana, of why I go with you? And what are your points of difference that you use in your listing presentation?
Yeah, so at the moment, what I'm finding is working really well for me is my pre-listing sort of email that I'm sending out already gives them a lot of information about us and about me and about what my role is going to be in this whole process. It also links them to our YouTube channel so they can start to get an idea of the quality of marketing that we can provide our clients. When I get in front of them, we're offering all of our clients a video marketing on their rental property, which is something no one else is doing in this area. So when I say, not only am I going to put you on realestate.com, all of the other websites, you're going to get a video that's going to be loaded to YouTube and linked to your advertisements so that prospective tenants can see your property. And I find that's a massive point of difference. People love it. And I do the videos. It costs nothing.
Your competitors down the road, and they're working in that prestigious marketing too. You're telling me that they're dealing with rents up to $3,000 a week, $13,000 a month, and they're still using boring photos?
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy. I can't get my head around that you are publicly proclaiming your points difference. I bet every one of your competitors can see every one of your videos and still they've done nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I said to Dennis a couple of years ago, I said, "Oh, don't share my videos. You know, somebody might copy one." And he goes, "Shashana, I teach this stuff all the time, and I think it was 5% of people will leave this room and actually put it into action."
Yeah.
And I've been in rooms here in Perth when Dennis has been training, and I've seen all of my competitors in the room, and still they're not doing what we do. So that's fantastic.
And I think, you know, from a trainer's point of view, I do know that the more point of difference that you invest in, the more work you put in, the more expertise you put in, the more your competitor isn't going to do it because they're caught up with the everyday. But also, if the pack isn't doing it, if the pack is only doing photos, then everyone's just going to do photos. If everybody was doing it, it was acceptable to do a walkthrough video, and everybody is only going to do the bare minimum. But if a person steps up and says, I'm going to do a lot more, then everyone else isn't going to follow. So particularly in property marketing, this is where prospective owners care about the most. If you can show that you have a far more superior letting or leasing performance through property marketing, then wow, that's a really, really good point of difference.
And the really great thing for us is what I do is once I've loaded that, I send the link to the client showing them, and they share it on their Facebook page with their family and their friends.
Okay, so to have a look at your walkthrough videos right now, do they just need to go to YouTube to the Mack Hall
Real Estate, yeah.
Mack Hall, M-A-C-K, Mack, H-A-L-L, Mack Hall Real Estate YouTube channel. Have a look at Shashana's walkthrough videos. Just be different from the pack and you're going to get the business. Now, okay, moving on, next question. So does this help you, or what are some other tips that you've got that helps you maintain full fees in the listing presentation?
Yep. Okay. So it's adding value to the property management service. So people know that a property manager looks after their property, leases the property, collects the rent, that sort of thing. But it's all about adding value. So some of the ways that we add value to our service is by educating our clients on how they can make extra money. Tax depreciation I don't go to an appraisal without the tax depreciation information, because although I may not be able to achieve the rent where their expectations are because the market may be down here, I'm going to be able to show them that over the year annually, we can make them this much. And I get the estimate before I go so that I can show them approximately what they're going to get. Other than that, we have investor newsletters. We have the educational videos. So it's all about adding on to the service. And
so they add value, which means that then the more that you add value, the less they're going to focus on your fee.
Yep, exactly. And I'm hoping to get my first investor evening organized this year.
Well done. That's really good. Of course, guys, get in contact with BMT Tax Depreciation, and they'll give you some good advice how you can use the tax depreciation reports as a point of difference, just like Shashana has explained there. Okay, moving on. So, all right, we're in a listing presentation. I'm your prospective owner. Shashana, I say to you, okay, the other agency down the road is only charging X dollars in management fee. If you can match your fee with them, I'll go with you. How do you deal with that, Shashana, that you walk out with your full management fee?
Yeah. Well, this is a bit nerve-wracking talking to the king of fee negotiation.
Dennis is pretty good, don't you worry.
I guess some of this is taken from what I've learned from you guys, and I will say that well, Mr. Landlord, I'm not here today. You haven't brought me here because I'm the same as the other agent. Otherwise, you would have gone with them. You've brought me here because we are different, and this is why. And that's when you go into your points of difference and stuff like that. And I would say that, you know, if I was going to match their fee, I would have to match their service level and their experience level, which I'm sure is not what you want for your biggest asset.
What can I say? Brilliant.
How did I do?
Everyone, I hope you wrote that down and implement. So, okay, next question, Shashana. Well done. That was really good. All righty. Dennis.
My turn. Can I just say #proud? I'm just sitting here listening to you.
Shashana, I just think we are interviewing the right lady today. Well done. This, and I just say, Shashana, you're there.
You've come so far, like it really has. And
the property manager that I knew going into that office way many, 4 or 5 years ago.
You met
I
me
was
about
dealing with
8
the
years
department
ago.
manager.
Yeah.
I was sitting at that desk doing property management. That's when I referred Dennis to the business, and that's another story.
Darren actually said, "Good luck with that office."
Yeah, thanks.
Well, what I'm saying, the BDM changed, so that made all the difference.
It is, and you know, like a lot of agencies have that sales mentality, and when we broke through that, we you know, we're not relying on the sales team. Yeah, we're utilizing them, but you know, a lot of agencies where I'm training BDMs, I've got access to sales, and we couldn't do that. We had no choice. And now they're referring business to Shashana, and they're going, wow, look at this girl. Like, you know, so the confidence, and we've really bridged the gap between sales and property management, and it is awesome, you know.
I make the money. What's not to like?
Well done.
But I think most of the change that's happened over the last few years has really been mindset wise. You know, like you said before, Darren, I had that mindset. I'm a property manager and I'm not a salesperson, but learning and trying new things and taking risks has done wonders.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has. So, can I ask, I know, but we want to share with people, what are some of the KPIs that you've got?
I love KPIs.
yeah, you've already shared it with me. I mean,
it's like a kid at school getting excited about math, you know.
I'm a very visual person. I'm just in the process of getting a brand new whiteboard in here so I can have everything in front of me. I've got KPIs for obviously how many managements I bring in, but also, you know, appraisals. How many times leads coming in, leads generated, how many videos I make per month, how many current client calls, private landlord calls, and all that sort of thing. But it is a work in progress, and we're constantly tweaking and changing them.
Yeah. Okay. So should we add, what about thank you cards that you're writing,
yeah.
meetings you're attending, sales meetings that you're attending?
Yeah. So for me, sales meetings are a weekly thing. I sit in the sales meeting and I hear what properties they're listing. I offer, it's a good opportunity for me to go and say, hey, you need an appraisal letter. You know, take me along, or do you need help?
Well done. And I mean, you're in their face, and some of the things you're actually educating them on, your days on market versus rivals. So
so I report the stats every single week. I report our vacancy rates, our days on market, how many properties we've leased, and I also give them like a good news story.
Yeah, well done.
Okay. I just want to state too, for our viewers and those that are subscribed to our Inject Growth series, Dennis and I, we're doing recording in the next few days, which is going to be session or training session 33. We are going to be going through, it's a 2-part video series. It's 30. How many? 30.
Yeah, I'm saying it's 2 sessions. We've had to break it into 2.
How many BDM tasks and KPIs will you be going through?
Over 30.
Over 30. So we got that. It's just too many. So we're breaking it up into 2 parts. We're going to be recording that next day or so. That'll be loaded into the Inject Growth series. But also the last training session that we did, it went for over an hour. It's 10 scripts, techniques, and strategies on how to overcome the biggest fee objections that can be thrown at you. So Shashana actually used one of those strategies there, and she's obviously applied it, and now she's made it her own. So if you're in the Inject Growth series, you'll find those. If you're not, go to inspiredgrowthtraining.com, go to our member section there, and you can get in contact with us, or you got an order form there. Anyway, Dennis, back to you.
So Shashana, what's your next goal? What's your next big growth goal? What's what is it for you?
So it's a challenging one. I've got it stuck up. It's that piece of paper up there. So I want to get the portfolio to 500 properties by February next year. Now, when you break down the numbers, it's only like 8.7 per month or something, but I want that to be net. So our sales team, I mentioned before, are fantastic. And they're having a really good run of sales at the moment, which means that they're selling a lot of the properties on our rent roll. So although it's only 8.7 on our current numbers, it's going to be the net number, and I want to get to 500.
Well done. And
watch this space.
Yeah, I just like that you've got it written down, so that's really good. So I hear you've got a training session this afternoon with some coach, some BDM coach guy.
Yeah.
Maybe some guy. Maybe
some crazy guy with a monobrow.
One eyebrow. What we need to do is we'll break down how many phone calls we need to make, but to get to that. But that's
what I want to put on my new whiteboard. How many calls, how many appraisals, how many leads I need to generate.
Okay, so Shashana, we are going to do this. We'll certainly have you on stage, but let's just say that you're at the Inspire Growth Conference. You are on stage. You've got a room full of business owners and BDMs and some property managers that sign up new business. And you've only got 1 minute. So what is your message just for 1 minute to that audience?
Pre-listing process. So have a fantastic pre-listing email, but the follow-up. So have a really good database that you can drip feed, because it's not instant. Sometimes I sign up leads I've been chasing for 2 years. So, have that drip feed system, have those touch points. The thank you cards after appraisals make a huge difference. And also don't be afraid to try new things. Be the 5% that walks out of one of your conferences or seminars and actually goes back to the office and makes a list and says, I'm going to put this into action.
Yeah, don't be the 95%. Dennis, I think that's a new tagline we're going to work into our brand. So
yeah,
look, meaning that.
Darren, I've been training Shashana now for almost exactly 3 years. Okay, when I first walked into that office. Now Shashana came September. September. Shashana came to the conference, and I've got her feedback form here. It's sitting in front of me. Okay, where she's drawn her little butterflies and balloons and kisses and stuff. But, the notes that she took away, and she said, I learned so much still.
Correct. That is doing everything, but she's still learning more. And
it's still putting her through training. She's still implementing the training. And she's going to some, I don't know, there's some crazy guy doing a full day in Perth next week, and she's going to that as well.
Absolutely. It's this stuff that gives you so much drive. I come out of these conferences and I'm buzzing.
All right, just one more thing. I've got one more question for you in a minute, Shashana, but you mentioned before about the pre-listing, and we've just released, everybody, we released an article just today. It's Dennis's pre-listing presentation appointment email with 9 different things you can also attach to the email. So we're giving you the full email template. We're giving you the 9 things that you can possibly attach up to. So go to inspiregrowthtraining.com. Go to the knowledge library and go to the PM growth resources. You'll find that pre-listing presentation email template in there, and that with the template. So we're just releasing that today, but make sure you check that out. Now, Shashana, how can people contact you if they have any questions? What's the best way?
I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to talk. So my email address is shashana@mackhall.com.au. That's SHASHANA@mackhall.com.au. Also hit me up on Facebook. I'd love to connect.
Well done. Shashana, true professional. You're already there. Don't ever think that you're a true professional. We think you're a star, and just thanks so much. Really good interview. We had a lot of good fun today. Dennis, what can I say? A protege of your legendary BDM coach status. So another result of a person that you've coached and done really well with.
I can't speak highly enough of both of you and what you've done for me.
Cool.
We're guides, Shashana. You're the one that still goes in the door. You're the one that implements what we train.
If you don't implement, it means nothing. We know we have the best PM growth material available on the planet. Too many people go, they learn it, they go ho-hum, they do nothing about it. So it's not the material, it's about what you implement that counts. And you definitely have a massive return that we just love to see. And you've really bloomed, Shashana. Thank you so much. Let's wrap this up, guys. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Shashana. Great job. And
thanks for having me.
No worries. Take care, everyone.
Thank you very much. Take care.
See you later.